Hey there, dog lovers. I'm Alex Covington, owner and lead trainer and behaviorist at Project Canine Dog Trainers. And I'm excited to welcome you to our brand new show, the Dog Trainers Pawdcast. Whether you're a seasoned dog owner, a new puppy parent, or just learning about our friends, this podcast is for you. We're diving into all things dog, from basic obedience to solving those tricky behavioral issues. We'll also be bringing in expert guests, sharing real-life success stories, and giving you tips and tricks to help build a stronger bond with your canine companion. So grab your lead. Join us on this journey to better and happier pups. Subscribe now to the Dog Trainers Pawdcast. And let's unleash your dog's potential together. Welcome back to the podcast. See, I'm your host, Alex Covington. We have a lot to talk about. So today I'm diving deep into, one of these most fundamentals and transformative concepts in dog training, the Four Quadrants. See, whether you're struggling with a stubborn pup or just curious about what really makes dogs tick, this episode is for you. We're going to try to spend some time breaking it down. These quadrants share real life examples and trying to give some actionable tips today. So let's jump in. Four quadrants. So what exactly are the four quadrants of dog training? Well, imagine you're holding four different keys, right? Each one opens a different door to your dog's behavior. These keys are positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, negative punishment. Each quadrant plays a critical role in shaping how your dog behaves, both good and bad. So before we get too technical here, let's simplify. In the world of dog training, positive and negative aren't about good and bad. Instead, think of positive as adding something and negative as taking something away. When we talk about reinforcement and punishment, it's all about whether you're trying to increase or decrease a behavior. I know it can sound a bit academic, but trust me, once you understand these concepts, you'll start seeing opportunities to use them in every day with your dog. So let's start with a big crowd favorite, positive reinforcement. This is a quadrant most people are familiar with because it's all about rewards. Think of it as a carrot in the classic carrot and stick approach. When your dog does something you like sitting on command, you immediately give them a reward. This could be a treat, a toy, or even a verbal praise. The key here is timing. The faster you reward your dog after the desired behavior, the stronger the connection they make between action and reward. For example, if your dog sits and you hand over a treat within a second or two, they're going to think, hey, sitting is awesome. I get treats when I do that. You see, over time, your dog will start offering that behavior more and more, hoping for that reward. But here's a pro tip. Variety is your friend. Dogs can get bored with the same old treats, so mix it up. Sometimes you use high value treats or a quick game of tug. See, this keeps your dog engaged and excited to figure out what they'll get next. Okay, now what about negative reinforcement? The less understood sibling of positive reinforcement. Remember, negative here means taking away something, not that it's a bad thing. See, negative reinforcement is all about removing something unpleasant to encourage a behavior. Let's say your dog is wearing a harness that's a bit tight and they start pulling on the leash. As soon as they stop pulling, you loosen the harness or leash, giving them a sense of relief. What your dog learned is that they stop pulling, the discomfort goes away. When the second they stop pulling, the discomfort goes away. Here's another example. Imagine it's a hot day and your dog is out in the sun. They're feeling uncomfortable, so you move them into the shaded area. That relief that they feel in the shade reinforces the behavior of seeking out shade when they're hot. See, it's a bit more than positive reinforcement, but it's a powerful tool, especially in situations where your dog is motivated to avoid something uncomfortable. And just be careful not to overdo it. Dogs can become anxious if they consistently feel like they're going to try to escape something. So, just like for me, when I teach the sit, we pull straight up on the leash. The dog gets a little bit of pressure right here. It's aggravating. So, what it does, it figures out, okay, I'm going to sit down, I stretch out my neck, and then I release the pressure. What they learned is that when I sit, that pressure releases. So it's a much faster sit timing and learning than just reward. All right. So now we're getting into the trickier territory here, y'all. Positive punishment. So this quadrant is all about adding something to decrease a behavior. And it's where a lot of people can go wrong if they're not careful. For instance, let's say your dog jumps on the couch and you're not a fan of that. You might add a sharp no or even a spray of water to stop a behavior. The idea is that the dog will associate jumping on the couch with an unpleasant experience and stop doing it. But there's a catch. If your timing is off, or if your punishment is too harsh, you can create fear and anxiety in your dog. And once that happens, it can be hard to rebuild the trust. So you're using positive. So if you're using positive punishment, do so sparingly, and always follow up with a positive experience to keep things balanced. So, as I said with the spray bottle, a lot of people use spray bottles to deter their dog, right? To keep them away, to get them off of something, to get them to stop doing these things. Well, there's a problem. So you could get your dog scared of water bottles. So next time you pull out a water bottle and spray something on the counter to clean the counter, your dog's gonna get anxious and scared. So we have to be careful on what we use, how we use, and when we use. So let me tell you about a dog named Max. His owner was having a hard time with him jumping on guests. They tried yelling at him, but it only seemed to make Max more excited. He loved the attention. Even if it was negative, it wasn't until they combined a firm no with immediately turning away or immediately walking into him to take away the essence of jumping, the room to jump, essentially removing their reaction, that he started that he started to get the message, right? So Max learned that jumping either got him ignored or got him walked into every time. And he quickly opted out for sitting politely instead. See, the lesson here is positive punishment can be effective, but it's not just about stopping a behavior. It's about teaching your dog what to do instead. So instead of jumping, you want them to sit. Instead, it's about giving them another option. Okay. Last but not least, so we have a negative punishment. This is where you remove something your dog likes to decrease an unwanted behavior. Think of it as the opposite of positive reinforcement. For example, if your dog is being overly rambunctious, jumping on you when you get home, you simply turn away and ignore him. Doesn't always work, does sometimes. You're taking away the attention they crave. Eventually, they learn that calm behavior is what gets them the love and affection they want. See, sometimes like I said, when you walk into them, you're continuously walking at them or into them. They get the point of they can't jump because one, you're taking the distance away from them to jump towards you. Because instinctively, what do? We keep on backing up when they jump. So when we do that, we're giving them more room. We're giving them room to jump some more. We're giving them the space to do so. And once we keep walking into them, they understand a little bit different. See, another common scenario, let's say you're training your dog with treats, but they're not following a command. Instead of giving them a treat, you withhold it. Your dog quickly learns that not following the command means no treat. See, the quadrant is particularly effective because it's non-confrontational. You're not adding anything unpleasant, just removing something pleasant. It's subtle, but it does work. So now that we've covered a little bit more of the quadrants, let's talk about some common mistakes and how to avoid them. One of the biggest mistakes trainers make is relying too heavily on one quadrant, usually positive punishment, without balancing it with reinforcement. This can lead to a dog that's fearful or confused rather than well behaved. Another common pitfall is inconsistency. Your dogs thrive on the consistency. So if you're not following through every time, your dog might get mixed signals. For example, sometimes you reward your dog for sitting and other times you don't, they might not understand when or why to sit. And there's a big one. Make sure you're always clear about what behavior you're reinforcing or punishing. Timing is everything. If you wait too long to reward or correct a behavior, your dog might not make, say, the right connection. A classic mistake is rewarding a dog for sitting, but only after they've already gotten up again. Now the dog thinks getting up is the earned behavior. But don't worry. Even if you've made some mistakes, dogs are incredibly forgiving and adaptable. See, with some patience and practice, you can correct the course and start seeing the results you wanted. So how do you put it all into place or into practice, here's a simple blueprint you can kind of get started with. First, identify the behaviors you want to increase, like sitting, staying, or walking calmly on leash. Use positive reinforcement to engage these behaviors. Remember to mix up the rewards to keep things exciting for your dog. Next, think about the behaviors you want to decrease, like jumping on guests or pulling on leash. Decide if you're going to use positive punishment, like a firm no, or negative punishment, like removing attention to address this. Finally, make sure you're consistent. Use the same commands, rewards, and corrections each time. And don't forget to balance your training with plenty of play, love, and positive experiences. After all, training should be fun for both of you, for you and your dog. Okay, to wrap up, understanding and using the 4 quadrants of dog training is like having a secret weapon in your training arsenal. With these tools, you can shape your dog's behavior more effectively and build a stronger, happier relationship with your furry friend. So those 4 quadrants is what I call being a balanced dog trainer. A lot of times people get positive dog training and balanced dog training confused. Yes, purely positive is only positive. And you can get far in just one of the quadrants, right? But you can't fix everything. And if you only use one of these quadrants, you have to be able to have all 4 in your arsenal. Every dog is different. Every training is different. Though there's a lot of similarities in most of it, they're all different. We have to understand that we're all different people. We learn differently, so do the dog. So take it one step at a time and like and subscribe and keep following us. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of dog training. See, I hope you found something helpful or inspiring. Remember to subscribe to the Dog Trainers Pawdcast so you don't miss our next episode. Well, we'll be tackling some of the other most common training issues. So until then, keep your tails wagging and those paws happy. Till next time.